Yo, I'm Alex7, and I know you guys love hearing about TDSC content, and guess what? I finally have some new information with you. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so first we're going to be talking about Nacon Connect, and it might actually be revealed this week, and then we're going to be talking about the release date, because before I told you guys February is probably what the plates on the Aston Martin meant, but today I've actually have some new information for you, and it's not February, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, so first, Nacon Connect. Now, as you guys know, Nacon Connect actually happened last year for the first time on July 7th, and it was announced a month prior on June 10th, which you guys can see on the screen right now. Now, of course, we do know that the TDSC information is going to be coming again to us in July. We just don't know exactly when, but using the information we kind of already have, it would make sense Nacon would have another Nacon Connect happening next month. And of course, with that being said, it makes sense that they would also announce it a month prior. And of course, we all know today's the first day of June. Happy first day of June, by the way. We all know E3 is coming up, but that's something else. But if Nacon were to announce Nacon Connect, it would definitely be this week or next week, especially if Nacon Connect is going to be held in the early July stages, similar to how they did it last year. So that'd be very interesting. Again, Nacon tweeted this in reply to the Summer Gaming Fest, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, but they said, "What will this week bring in gaming news? Not Tease, a question." Nacon replied saying, "We might have the answer for that question." So, you know, it's pretty plausible that this is what they're talking about. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Again, highly recommend you follow Nacon Connect on Twitter and me as well for all your up-to-date news, because obviously I'll post stuff on Twitter prior to making a video about it. But now let's talk about the release date. Okay, so I've broken down this part of the video into a lot of graphics, so at least in case you're not following along, you kind of can with these graphics as well. So first, I need to talk to you about a fiscal year and what that is. Now, for businesses, fiscal year starts actually not from January to December, but sometimes they'll start from April to next year April, or March to next year March, etc. You guys get the point. Basically, a fiscal year isn't exactly a year in certain terms. Now I'm going to show you Nacon's fiscal years. Now, Nacon's fiscal years start on April 1st and end on March 31st. So of course, right now we're currently in the 2021 and 2022 fiscal year, because obviously we've passed April 1st and now we're going to be going over to March 31st, 2022. Now, of course, this is how it's broken down. From April to June, you have Q1, July to September, you have Q2, then October to December, you have Q3, and of course, January to March the next year, you have Q4. Now, again, what we had this year was Q4 for the fiscal year 2020 to 2021. And of course, because this year we're going to have a fiscal year going into next year, it would mean that we're in a fiscal year 2021 to 2022, because the fiscal year for this year ends next year, March. I hope you guys are following along, because it's going to be important. Now, of course, in the financial document, we have some huge information about Nacon as well as TDSC. Now, one thing I have to say, Nacon is killing it in terms of their financial success, which is a huge and very good thing for games such as TDUSC and other games that Nacon is producing, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But in the financial document, it has here outlook for FY 2021 to 2022, which is what I just told you guys. Now, as you guys can see, in the market driven by new consoles, Nacon anticipates a year of growth in business and profitability, which should be based on the digital sales backlog, blah blah blah. Launch of new games including Rims Racing, Roguebook, Vampire, Bloodborne, well, Blood Bowl I should say, and WRC 10. Now, hint, obviously if TDSC was releasing in this fiscal year, they would have mentioned it here. So this fiscal year takes us all the way up to next year March, and February 2022 is in this fiscal year. So unfortunately, February doesn't make sense on the plates of the Aston Martin, and of course, right there and then, it has been debunked. But of course, it does say this good business trend has led Nacon to bring forward its 2022-23 targets to FY 21-22, with sales between 180 million to 200 million euros, which again is very good, because in the next part of this financial document, it says this. Now, here are the annual targets for FY 2022/23, which we all know would start next year April and end in 2023 March. But it says the funds raised during the IPO enabled the acquisition of studios and the development of major games. Test drive them with Solar Crown, of course, which will be releasing 2022/2023. Now, fiscal year 2022-2023, up on the screen for you guys right now, is basically what that is. Now, I highly doubt this game is coming out in 2023. It wouldn't make any sense, but hear me out. Now we all know that 2022-23 fiscal year is from April to 2023 March. So if we use the plates on the Aston Martin, you could technically assume Q2 2022, which would be July or August or September. Now Gamescom is in August, Nacon Connect would be in July. It would make perfect sense if they came to E3 in 2022 or made another Nacon Connect in July and showed up at Gamescom. They could honestly do a treble. It wouldn't surprise me because I feel the marketing for this game is going to step up next year a ton. But of course, they could also hit us with the Q3 for the fiscal year of 2022-23, which is October, November, and December. However, knowing that Need for Speed, the next Need for Speed is going to be launching, I assume, October, November, I'm sure Nacon would want to hit that prior to the release. So with that being said, July, August, or September, which is fiscal year Q2, and on the plates it's 02 and then you have 22N, it would make sense that the 02 could stand for Q2 for 2022. So with that being said, I'm sure honestly July, August, or September, most likely September I'm pretty sure would be the release for TDUSC. Again, WSC 11 I assume would also release in September, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't think kylotonn would push two of their games to release in the same time frame, but who knows, we're just gonna have to wait and find out. Hopefully Nacon Connect we do get the location and the release date, but the fact that this is not coming in February, I want to let you guys know, do not, I repeat, do not expect gameplay at this year's Gamescoms or at this year's Nacon Connect, simply because the gameplay is going to be a huge selling point. I would honestly be surprised if they went with that. I'm sure they would rather show it on the same year as a release, so they could show up at E3 next year or Nacon Connect next year or even Gamescom next year. But if the game is going to release in September, that technically would mean they might show gameplay this year at Gamescom or next year at E3. We're just going to have to wait and find out of what Nacon has planned for us. But the high sales is a very good thing because it means that Nacon clearly knows that they're going to up the development budget for TUSC, add more features, add more vehicles, etc, etc. It's all pretty damn possible, and I'm very happy Nacon is exceeding, in fact, way over exceeding their financial targets than what they previously and initially thought. That's always a good thing, especially for a publisher that's making pretty much one of the biggest racing games of all time. In fact, it could very be the biggest racing game of this decade. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Of course, are you excited for TDSC, and when do you think TDSC is going to be launching? Of course, like I said, this would mean at minimum that we're not going to be seeing TDSC until April 1st, 2022, which I doubt they would do it anyways. But of course, April 2022 at minimum is the earliest we could see TDSC release, and at the latest 2023 March, which honestly, I don't see it coming there. I'm pretty certain it's going to be Q2 or Q3 fiscal year, so that would be July to December 2022. I'm not sure exactly when, but that is the best guess. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Other than that, I'm Alex7, and I'll see you guys in another TDUSC video. By the way, Friday, because we're going to be talking about cars and the car list. I'm Alex7, and I'm out, guys. Peace.